Welcome once again to the City of Maple Grove Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us. Joined by Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We have a meeting to talk about from March 20th and a few work sessions ahead of that, and also a lot going on in the city. Sure signs of spring and summer. We're going to tell you about some of the events to get on your calendar. Let's begin with the first meeting of the evening. This was a closed work session related to Lifetime Fitness in the Community Center. Bring us up to date.
Yeah, so we continue to be in discussion with Lifetime Fitness about the acquisition of their facility. And so those discussions are continuing, and we hope to have resolution to that here in the next few months and know the outcome of that.
All right, we'll keep residents up to date. The next work session related to Police Department Community Engagement Unit and Outreach Officer, something we've talked about a few times, coming up in the goals for the city. Remind us what this is and what the thought is going ahead.
Yeah, so there are a number of things that we do in the name of community engagement and outreach, and so discussions in recent years have been about kind of combining that all into one division within the police department, adding a sergeant position to oversee those things, and then we've also expressed the need for kind of taking a different approach in the community center. Today we do assign patrol to be present in the community center a certain number of hours a week. We think there would be benefit to kind of taking a different approach over there. You know, we've compared it to kind of a school resource officer model. And I think the point there is that you have sort of a consistent representation there, a person there that's maybe taking the approach of being more engaging with our users in our building, particularly those younger users in our building. If you recall, we've had some issues in the gymnasium and had to close that for a bit of time, and we certainly want to keep facilities open and available to all of our users, and we think that taking a bit of a different approach in the community center and engaging with our users a little bit more would be of benefit there. So still some continued discussion to come on this. I think you'll probably see potentially the sergeant position come back possibly in the budget process. So more to come on that, but good discussion amongst the council about kind of how that would work in terms of combining leadership of all those programs and then adding that different kind of resource at the community center.
Very good. Now to the meeting on the 20th, about 1 hour in length. A few items that were a little bit longer that we'll touch on. Let's begin with one item pulled from consent, and that is the Mayor's Monarch Pledge Proclamation. So again, a little background for residents who might not know what this is, but a lot of work happening in this area. Yeah,
so really this is about monarch butterflies and kind of you know, the environment that we're creating in our city to support monarch butterflies and pollinators really too, kind of that part of that well-functioning ecosystem. So this is a program that's run throughout the country. It's the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, and you pick a day. Our day will be March 31st, so you'll see some social media and communications go out on that day. Many of the things that are identified in this program we already do in some fashion, but I think there's opportunities, you know, as we're looking at our plantings on an annual basis, those types of things, encouraging residents to think about that as well. Further exploring those types of opportunities. So really wanting to make sure that we're creating those habitats for butterflies and pollinators throughout the community.
City's website, maplegrovemn.gov, a place to go to find out more about that event and how you might be able to get involved. Very nice note at the meeting. You had a lot of yellow shirts in the audience because the Maple Grove Lions are celebrating their 60th anniversary.
Yeah, and you know, the Maple Grove Lions Club has been such a tremendous partner with the city on a number of fronts. They do contribute dollars from their charitable gambling funds to the city for a variety of projects. You know, the park pavilion over at the community center, the playground, those types of things. They've been involved with projects over at Central Park as well. And so really a great community partner, not only in terms of partnering with us on projects, but also their service to the community. Runs pretty deep in terms of, you know, the events that they hold throughout the year, the corn feed at the Maple Grove Days, the concerts that they've been doing in the fall, the baskets that they do for the community around the holiday time. So really kind of a treasured group of folks here for the Maple Grove community. So celebrating their 60th anniversary here in March, and so proclamation from the mayor. And just of note, I know we're taping this on Thursday morning, but Saturday night, this Saturday night, the 5th, I believe, they have their beer and wine tasting event at the community center. And so that's an opportunity. I checked yesterday, there were still tickets available,
Okay.
but that'll be Saturday night. I think it starts at 6 or 7 p.m., but information available on the Maple Grove Lions website.
Great. Hats off to the Lions. Great organization supporting the community. Next presentation was the age-friendly presentation, something that we have talked about multiple times over the years and this process moving forward. So they gave a little status report of what they've done and where they're headed next.
Yeah, so Lydia Morkin, who is the consultant that works on the age-friendly Maple Grove project, and then Liz Faust were from our Parks and Recreation Department. She's the leader on our senior programs over at the community center. We're in to talk about the age-friendly initiative, and so they go through sort of this cyclical process where they do assessment, planning, and implementation, and then it's kind of a every 3-year process to start that process over again. So they're kind of in that assessment phase and have done recently a community survey, and so now they're doing some outreach. Recently sat down with our directors team and talked about where they're at and some of the things that we have going on in the community that we want to make sure they're a part of. The goal here is really that, you know, we put that lens of healthy living and aging in our community to everything that we do, whether it's a park project or a road project, development, those types of things, that we're really taking those concerns or issues into consideration. And so good to have that time shared with our directors team, and then get the council updated on where they're at in their planning as well.
Next item was a public hearing, one for the evening of the 20th at the council meeting, and that was the Rush Hollow project. We've talked about this again multiple times as it's moved through phases, and now we're talking streets and utilities.
Yeah, so this is in the area of Fernbrook and County Road 81, kind of on the north side up against Dayton there. Involves quite a bit of new road infrastructure, and of course the extension of city utilities, sewer and water, and stormwater services as well. This would include the extension of Maple Grove Parkway to the north. So, you know, Maple Grove Parkway today kind of dies into County Road 81, so this intersection then would continue, kind of go north across the fields there and connect up with Fernbrook. And then, of course, the local the improvements for, you know, the local streets there within the development area. So this is a project that'll get started under construction this summer, so you'll start to see some activity out there. About a $29 million investment for the development. So some of that are, you know, are city components, but the bulk of that is really development related to be paid by the developer.
All right, let's move ahead to community and economic development, to the meeting on the 20th, and this was the point where they had to jump to the EDA. So again, tell us a little bit about why that process had to happen, and the main discussion was around the gravel mining TIF development.
Yeah, so this is the Arbor Lakes Business Park buildings 5, 6, and 7. So as you drive down Elm Creek Boulevard headed east, you see the 4 buildings that are either complete or under construction today. Those are Arbor Lakes Business Park buildings 1 through 4. Okay. So these buildings 5 through 7 will be kind of south of that, getting closer to 694 there. So continue to work with Endeavor Development on this project, and there's building 7 will be one tenant building. It's going to be Project Next will be in that building. So we know some good, you know, med tech companies bringing good jobs to town are going to be living in those buildings there. And so this was the tax increment financing agreement that provides some tax increment to these companies to help them offset some of the infrastructure costs associated with these projects. And so the purpose of the EDA meeting, they have to hold the public hearing on that project and approve those agreements. And then we adjourn the EDA and come back, of course, to the City Council to sort of ratify that action that the EDA took. I should note that we did do oaths of office for, this is our first EDA meeting since the beginning of the year, so oath of office for the new kind of officers of the EDA and making those assignments as well.
And in the city of Maple Grove, that's the same group as the council. So
it is,
again,
the
just
same
two
body,
groups. Okay.
Yep, different powers, correct.
Let's move ahead to what's coming up for community and economic development. They've got a planning commission meeting coming up on March 27th, and one item coming up there.
Yeah, so we have a proposal for a development at the corner of 169 and 694, sort of that northwest corner there. So also part of the gravel mining area district. This one's going by Project Libre, and so moving through the process with the development, the entitlement process, but also looking at kind of that increment package for these folks as well. A lot of interest in this gravel mining area south of Elm Creek Boulevard up to 694. We think over the next 3 to 5 years, you're really going to see that area take shape and some, transition from some of the McCrossin land and the now Martin Marietta land as well. So pretty exciting things, and really adding some great businesses to town out there in those fields.
We'll keep you up to date on that progress. To engineering, one item touched on here, the Well 2 renovation update, something that's been underway, and Ken provided an update.
Yeah, so we're always making sure we're taking care of that infrastructure with our wellheads, and so this is a rehab of well number 2.
Okay, so that is moving ahead through the process. You had one update, and again, this is looking backwards. The mayor was busy down at the Capitol talking about bonding.
Yeah, so last Friday afternoon, Mayor Stephenson had the opportunity to testify in front of the House Capital Investment Committee. They had sort of a whole afternoon planned and ran through kind of all of the kind of local bonding requests that are being seen at the state legislature. So we're hopeful to be included in a bonding bill. If you've been following along, the House had approved a bonding bill. The Senate voted that down, so that we're kind of starting over. That bonding bill that had been passed by the House was kind of what was left over from the 2022 session. So we're hopeful now as we move into what are becoming the latter weeks of the session, that new bonding bill will come together, and we continue to support that request for state bonding for the community center project.
So that is your wrap-up of the meeting on the 20th. And again, we'll give you the city's website at the end if you have any questions about things that occurred during that meeting. But you might also want to look at some things coming up in the city. And first is job openings. You're hiring at some nice rates, and you have lots of opportunities in the city. Yeah,
so lots of summer or just part-time temporary employment opportunities at the city, as well as full-time regular opportunities.
Right.
Seems like we're always in a hiring cycle lately. So we have a number of seasonal positions in Public Works and Parks and Recreation, and those positions start in the high $15 an hour and go, if you're with us for a few years, those rates increase. So we really encourage folks to take a look at our city website, and we index all of our city employment opportunities there.
And that website again, maplegrovemn.gov. You can find out more about that and other things happening. Ice rescue training going on, so the fire department always staying prepared.
Yeah, so the Maple Grove firefighters have participated in classroom and outdoor training for ice rescue operations. So we often respond to emergencies where a person has fallen through the ice. They are low frequency, of course, which we're grateful for, but very high risk event, not only for the individual involved, but also for our emergency personnel that are responding and creating a bigger danger there. So really important that they train on those rescue techniques and review that emergency equipment that they're going to be using prior to the time that we need it, and they were able to get that done in recent weeks.
We talked earlier a little bit about the community center. We want to give an update here. This will probably be the last time we update this with our meetings here, as the local option sales tax related to the community center goes into place soon.
Yeah, so April 1, that tax will start to be collected here locally in Maple Grove. Again, that's a 0.5% here in Maple Grove, and it extends just to only things that are currently subject to sales tax. So food and clothing and those types of things remain exempt from sales tax. A number of critical path items here that we're sorting through on the community center project. We kind of, when we started post the election, kind of getting the tax in place with the Department of Revenue. We continue, as we've mentioned, in discussion with Lifetime Fitness. Recently worked through a process and a request for proposals for architectural services. We're making a change to the architectural firm. You'll see that contract come forward in the next few weeks here with the council. Recently interviewed construction manager at risk. That's kind of the format that we'll be doing this project in, and so you'll see those contracts come forward. And then, of course, we just talked about the state bonding piece. We're the session will wrap up on May 22nd, so we're just trying to kind of get all of these pieces in place and understand kind of the answers to, the state bonding and the lifetime question, and be ready to get going here in June, really, late June, July, get going in earnest on design for the project. So we continue to keep the Growing Together maplegrove.org website updated. That will be the kind of the landing spot for all information as we move through the design and construction phase of the project as well. So encourage people to check out that website if they have further questions.
Very good. All right, sure signs of spring and summer coming here soon. The first is related to the yard waste site. April 1st is that date to keep in mind as well. And we're hoping there's some yard to rake, right?
April 1 feels optimistic to me, but it is the opening day for the yard waste site. So maybe if you have some branches left in your garage from last year, you can get those over to the yard waste site on April 1st. But mgyardwaste.com includes their information about their hours of operations, what they accept, and then just a reminder, bringing your ID to show your residency for use at the site, which of course is at no cost. And then we do have our city spring cleanup day events in May. May 15th is the curbside pickup, and then May 20th is cleanup day at the Public Works facility for drop-off. And then details about that event and what's accepted are on the city website as well.
Yep, garage cleaning time. So look at the things you might have inside that you want to get rid of. Severe Weather Awareness Week is coming up in April, and again, another reminder that that season is upon us soon.
Yeah, April 17th to the 21st is Severe Weather Awareness Week in Minnesota. Each day of the week focuses kind of on a different weather safety issue. And then Thursday, April 20th is Tornado Drill Day. So then you're going to hear those outdoor sirens at 1:45 and 6:45 that day. And it's just a great opportunity as a family to kind of talk about what your emergency plan is. Should we have a tornado or a strong storm, what will be the plan to protect your family during that time?
Another event that is happening that you might be seeing something in your mail is property tax statements. It's that time of the year once again.
Yeah, so residents are receiving their property tax statements from Hennepin County in the mail. First half of the 23 property taxes are due on May 15th. Many people pay those through their mortgage, kind of a thing. But if you don't do that, know that that May 15th date is coming up and you want to look in your mailbox for that property tax statement. And then we're coming into also Board of Appeal time of the year, and those meetings, April 18th and May 2. Property owners will receive their 2023 valuation notices in the mail. And so just always think about we're like a year, we're looking for this property valuation session, it's for payable taxes in 2024.
Right.
So we're a year ahead there, looking ahead. So that's what we'll be doing with Board of Appeal. And if folks want to come in and talk about their property valuation, I think we're feeling better about this year. Last year was really a tough year with property values increasing so dramatically due to the housing market. This year, much more modest in the 1% range. So we're thinking that this year's Board of Appeal will be a little bit more manageable, but folks should be looking in their mailboxes for those statements.
Also encourage you to look to the city's website. We mentioned it a number of times, maplegrovemn.gov, and reason now to look in there is for recreational opportunities. Great summer programs to be had.
Yeah, so the registration is open for summer programs through Maple Grove Park and Rec. The brochures available for viewing on the city websites, and lots of programs for all ages and all interests.
Get out there and get involved. Here's something coming up in the community that you might want to stop in and be a fan and cheer them on. We've got a big hockey tournament coming to town at the end of March.
Yeah, so this is starting March 30th. Maple Grove Community Center is hosting the USA Hockey Youth Tier 2 18U National Championship.
Got it. Well said.
Right, it's a long name, but we just had gotten some information from the organizers of this. Teams coming from all over the country, really, and I think this is going to be some great hockey to watch. So if you're a fan, I think admission is free to this event, so there'll be lots of families and friends in, of course, for these teams here representing them, but great opportunity to watch some great hockey, and it runs from March 30th to April 3rd. And of course, we're just encouraging those folks while they're visiting here in town to patronize local businesses and support all things Maple Grove.
And as you hit the Ice Center for that in the end of March, you might want to make another visit again towards the end of April, because the skaters take the show.
Yeah, so we have over 100 skaters participating in the 23rd annual Maple Grove Skating School Show. That is Saturday, April 22, and there's 2 shows that you can choose from at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. And then tickets can be purchased in advance. Check the website there, or at the door at the community center that day as well.
Let's talk farmers market. Still a couple indoor varieties, but the soon outdoor is coming. So what are the dates for indoor? A couple more times.
Yeah, so we have 2 more indoor markets, March 30th and April 13th. The hours are 3 to 6 p.m. Those are held kind of in that, I think they're actually doing them in the banquet room at the community center. And then the outdoor market season will open on May 11th, and this is our 19th season for the farmers market.
Fantastic.
So getting on to that 20th year.
Yep, people love it. All right, here's a program that people have loved for years and years, and it's exciting to hear it's coming back. That's the Ambassador Program. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the Maple Grove Ambassador Scholarship Program is back for this year. Applications are being accepted for the Summer Candidate Experience. And just as a reminder, 3 women are selected as the 2023 ambassadors to represent Maple Grove at various local and statewide events throughout the year of service. There's a $3,000 scholarship associated with being an ambassador. And we just really encourage all young women in Maple Grove to consider this opportunity. Of course, I've had the opportunity to get to know these young women every year, and it's just such a great leadership experience for them. Great confidence builder, great thing for their resume, and it doesn't hurt to have a $3,000 scholarship either. So really encourage people to go out and take a look at that Maple Grove Ambassador website for more information.
Here's a date for early May for your schedule. This is the Walk to Remember, an annual event. Where is that held?
Yeah, so this is the Maple Grove Friends of the Angel Walk to Remember. This is their 13th annual event. It's held on Saturday morning, May 6th, and it's up at the Maple Grove Arboretum around the Friends of the Angel statue up there. You can register online by April 9th, and the details are on that friendsoftheangel.org website.
Very good. Couple final notes to pass along. A partnership with the county on the National Health and Nutrition Survey. So people in Maple Grove might see people coming around the neighborhoods to ask a few questions soon.
Yeah, so Hennepin County was selected to be a participant in this National Center for Health Statistics survey, and it's running through May 23rd. Hennepin County, they'd be surveying about 733 people throughout the county, so there is the potential that somebody may be contacting a Maple Grove resident to do this survey. They are going door to door of randomly pre-selected households throughout the county. Interviewers will always carry official CDC, Centers for Disease Control, badge information, so you know that that's the official part of the survey. It's a brief survey at the doorstep to identify eligible survey participants, and just know if you have questions about that, Hennepin County is involved with that survey and can be a resource.
All right. And final note, we're looking ahead to one of the biggest events and one of the most fun events in the city of Maple Grove. That's Chalk Fest.
Yes.
You set a date.
We did, yes, June 10th and June 11th. And so this is done in collaboration with the Maple Grove Business Association. The hours for both that Saturday and Sunday are from 10 to 5. It'll be great. We have the new paving out there on Main Street, so things are looking real sharp. So we're really excited to be able to welcome, I think they have about 40 artists committed to this year's event. And so June 10th and 11th from 10 to 5, both Saturday and Sunday.
All right, we filled up your calendar there for the spring and summer time. Heidi, thanks so much for the information. Look forward to see you again next time. Let's leave you with the city's website because, again, a lot to know that's going on in the city. You see it at the bottom left of the screen, maplegrovemn.gov. Make sure you check that out for some of the job opportunities, events coming up, and some of the activities happening in the city. Next council meeting is on Monday, April 3rd, 7:30 at the Government Center. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the City of Maple Grove Report.